I mean, 39 weeks, you could have a new baby by the time your 39 weeks are gone. You could make it a business model, just keep producing babies and...
Never go back to work. Yeah, exactly. I like that idea.
The government
you can tell Lieven's never had a baby before. Go ahead.
Excuse me, I had 3 and...
Did you personally deliver them? Because this is a Guinness Book of World Records thing if a man actually had the baby.
I was present when it was delivered. I was present, which is a very hard thing to do.
There might be a difference between
not quite the same,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, your ass is out the window, boys.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Chad and Cheese, HR's most dangerous podcast. I'm Chad Burn Sowash.
And I'm Emmy. The sun is finally out in the UK, Beradigo.
For 2 days.
Yeah, for 2 days.
And I'm Lieven, who should be organizing congresses instead of recording podcasts. Funny realism.
Watch your mouth. Always be recording podcasts. And on this week's show, Facebook burns, Starbucks closes, LinkedIn pivots, and maybe Personio should have just stayed home. It's about to get hot up in here. Here we go. Welcome back, guys. What's going on? I'm. In case you don't know, I'm back in the U.S. So right now, I'm not in Euro Chad mode. I might be a little pissy, just so that you know.
And why is that? Do you not like being back home in the U.S.?
It's interesting because just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to JT. We were on the show, right? And I asked her. I was like, "So, what's the feeling? What's the vibe? In the U.S.?" And she was like, "People are just mad." I mean, people are just angry, more angry than normal. She said it could be, kind of like that time of season. They're sick and tired of it being cold and they want to be out when it's nice and sunny and so on and so forth. But I think there's more than that happening. It's been beautiful here. I'm back in good old Columbus, Indiana, visiting my daughter before we go to Chicago in the RLX. But yeah, I mean, it's the mood is a little bit more somber. Let's just say
so you're feeling it, yeah? You're feeling that people are somber and just not as happy as before?
Yeah. And the discussions for the most part aren't, starting on the positive side, looking at things to bitch about, you know what I mean? Which generally kind of gives the state of mind of a person. Whether you know it or not, if you're going to be focusing on the bad stuff because you're just in a bad mood and you want to be pissed about something versus, looking at the beautiful shiny day in the UK that you might only have for 2 days.
Don't take the piss. I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to stay sunnier for more than a week. You never know.
Well, Lieven said that it's actually nicer in Belgium today than it is in the Algarve. So, maybe I should be in Belgium today instead.
Perfect place to be. Perfect place to be.
Perfect place to be. Is this the break pretty much right now? And then you start to get better weather moving forward? Or is it kind of like spotty in Belgium?
I don't know. Normally we have like rain all the time. And since the climate is changing, I'm pretty happy about the weather. We have a hot spring. We have less rain. You won't hear me complaining, but I know somewhere someone's getting fucked, but we're happy.
Yeah, but Lieven's all about, Well, I've been lucky enough, obviously, to be back. Went to Phoenix for a client board. Went and spoke to the National Retail Federation So I'm going to jump because this is a little bit moving toward my shout out. My shout out, because I remember back in the early aughts when trying to get a success story from a TA and HR professional was worse than pulling teeth. I mean, you just couldn't get it. It was like I wanted the launch codes or something, right? It's like, I just want to know what's going right. And you just couldn't get that. But shout out to all of today's TA and HR practitioners out there. Since last November, I've been at 7 shows, and I believe Joel's been at about 6 of those that were practitioner heavy, and most of them actually practitioner led, not many vendors at all. And I think it's really important to say, as someone in this space who digs deep into technology, I love to dig even deeper into the actual problems that are happening. And only practitioners really can give you the sentiment of what's going on. And over the past 7 months, they've opened up, shared stories, their successes, and more importantly, their failures, which allow us to not only understand what's happening out there, but how to help the masses understand that they aren't alone in those problems. I think for so many years, we've been in our silos, right? Yeah. And there might be little groups here and there that get together. But today, more than ever, we're starting to see practitioners come together and really look to work together for shortcuts. Instead of saying, oh, we're way different than you, we can't recruit like you, they're actually looking for similarities and saying, oh, wait, I can steal that from you. Yes, our company's not the same, but yet you've done some really smart things from a process methodology standpoint. So my shout out is to all of those companies who are opening up on their failures, their successes. And if you want to watch some of those, you can go to thesessions.ai. We're actually prepping to drop 2 more seasons here in the next few months or so. Or just go to our YouTube channel and click on playlists, and you'll see the sessions. But shout out to all of those TA HR people who are actually sharing, because sharing, as Barney would say, is caring. Yeah. That's right.
I love that. I haven't heard that in ages.
Yeah, I'm here for the bingo card Barney reference. What about you, Emmy? What you got?
Oh, well, as we were talking about the UK, I'm going to stay on topic because my shout out is to my fabulous country, the United Kingdom. Ooh. And I'll tell you why. You might have seen this. There was data like kind of floating around. I think it's been floating around for a little while now, but it's actually saying that it was comparing the UK and they're saying to the US, and they're saying if the UK was a US state, the UK would actually be one of the best states in America. And I love this. I love the idea of this. I haven't seen anything like this before. And it's very, I looked and I was like, oh my God, the UK is actually smashing the US. And this is someone who used to, my dream was to live in the US. And I've always had this thing about the UK going, okay, it's not that great, even though, it's sunny at the moment. But I'll tell you why. And it's for a number of reasons. So one of the reasons is that we're apparently number 1 in healthcare coverage. So, and that's
compared
true.
To the US, yes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I talk to my cousins and my family over in the US, and they're like saying, if they want to get a kidney transplant, basically they're going to have to sell a kidney to actually pay for that kidney transplant. I was like, that's ridiculous.
Here at the Chad G's podcast, one thing that we love is obviously you watching, but also like and subscribe.
Medical bankruptcies are the number 1 movement for somebody to actually go and bankrupt.
Yeah. We don't have that in the UK. We have like the National Health Service. So can't even imagine that. Number 2, we're actually number 1 paid for giving paid maternity leave, which I love the idea of, and
that's amazing.
The length of maternity is actually a lot longer than the UK, because obviously if you have a baby, you want to know your baby before you actually go back to work. So we're brilliant from that point of view.
This is paid maternity
leave.
Versus FMLA in the US is 12 weeks of unpaid.
Oh my God. No. It's like, why should it be unpaid?
Who can go 12 weeks without a paycheck? I mean, especially got a new mouth to feed.
You just got a new baby. Yeah. It's like ridiculous.
Sorry.
What else is there? I talk about paid stuff. We're number 1 in statutory paid holidays in the UK. And our holidays are a lot longer. So not this kind of 2-week vacation. I mean, take me, for example. I'm about to get on a plane to go to Brazil for 3 weeks. I can do that. So another great reason for living in the UK. But also we rank first in things like life expectancy, years of it in education, having the lowest kind of murder rates. So we're basically a safer, smarter kind of country to live in. So yeah, so I mean, I'm giving it for the UK, and you know, it just makes me wonder, Chad, whether or not you made a mistake, because I know you love to like kind of class yourself as Euro, Chad. Maybe Portugal wasn't the way to go. Maybe you should have come to the UK. I mean, what do you reckon?
Yeah, but I mean, that comparison was the US versus the UK. I need to do a comparison versus Portugal, and I guarantee you that's going to be entirely different.
Wow, depends where you go. I mean, you live in Algarve, so yeah.
Hey, what about a little Belgium? Well, how do they rank, or how do they shape up against the UK?
Belgium.
Yeah.
Well, if you would compare us to the US, we wouldn't even be a state. We would be like a major city. We have 10 million people. Compared to the UK, we're doing, I checked the list. We are doing better on about half of the topics, and it's about 50-50. So, for example, I was impressed with your 28 days paid, 39 weeks of paid maternity leave, which is pretty impressive. We only have 15 weeks. I, as a man, have basically almost nothing, which is totally terrible.
In 2026,
but, I mean, 39 weeks, you could have a new baby by the time your 39 weeks are gone. You could make it a business model, just keep producing babies and
never go back to work. Yeah, exactly. I like that idea.
The government,
you can tell Lieven's never had a baby before. Go ahead.
Excuse me. I had 3, and in fact, I had twins even. So
did you personally deliver them? Because this is a Guinness Book of World Records thing. If a man actually had the baby,
I was present when it was delivered. I was present, which is a very hard thing to do.
There might be a difference between
not quite the same.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
still. I mean, anyways, we're getting off topic. But life expectancy, for example, in Belgium is a bit longer than in the UK, and years longer, of course, than in the US. Of course. We have, what else are we winning? Years in education. People, on average, get educated for 19 years, which isn't even that long, I think, but 19. And the US is only 17.8, sorry, in the UK. Our minimum wage is similar, I think. $48 an hour. It's awful. Okay.
That is awful.
It's awful, yeah.
But it's even worse than ours, obviously. $7.25.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, $7.25, and the euro obviously is worth more than the dollar is. So that's even worse than it sounds.
Oh, no, I was talking about dollars. It's 13 euros, 13.8. But still, you're talking about 7.
$7.25, yeah. That's the federal minimum wage, yes.
I mean, my 15-year-old kids would refuse to wash my car for...
They will hustle you. Yeah.
Oh, well. I can imagine,
I gotta say,
everyone comes to Europe.
They did well. And when it comes to the UK, and it's funny because I think we definitely need some run some numbers around some of the other European countries. The UK, to some extent, especially when you take a look at like overprocessed food and obesity, they're number 2 behind the US.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I think using the US as a low bar when it comes, so we're gonna have to dig into some more countries.
I had McDonald's for lunch today.
Yeah, exactly. Lieven, you got a shout out.
We have 15.9% obesitas. Is that the right word? Obesitas.
Yeah. Obesity percentage.
Obesity, in Belgium we say obesitas, whatever. So 15.9, where in the UK it's 29. That's a big difference indeed. Okay, anyways, my shout out goes to the big tech companies who are actually now firing people to be able to invest in AI, which might someday replace those people. So you just have to imagine, getting fired because of AI sucks, but getting fired because your company wants to invest in technology which might someday take your job, that's even worse. So this is what's going on right now. And what was it? Meta was going to fire 8,000 people. Amazon fired 30,000. Oracle is firing people. It's all over the place. Everyone is getting fired because there's like a race to invest in AI, not knowing where it will end. But For a company like Meta, which has tons of money, they're investing 130 billion this year, which even to them is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now they have to let go of 8,000 people to invest in something which might someday replace those people. Oh, well, I think we should all take an example of Google, who used to have their baseline saying, don't be evil. We need to get back to those days. Don't be evil, big tech.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Used to have. A long time ago.
Unfortunately. And the beautiful thing is, we here at the Chad and Cheese podcast, we don't do evil. We give away free stuff.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Stephen McGrath, and I'm here to tell you all about how you can grab some free stuff from chadcheese.com. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sitting here topless, and the answer is really simple. Because I've not grabbed my free t-shirt from Erin app at chadcheese.com yet. Let me fix that. Right, that's better. So I'm sporting a slightly vintage model here, but of course there are new and updated designs every year. And those are super soft, breathable, and some might even say huggable. Now, what else can you get? Of course, you can get some craft beer. It's not just any regular rubbish beer. That's craft beer, brought to you by the data geeks at Aspen Tech Labs. And if you're not into beer too much, then... Oh, 2 seconds. I'm just going to get that. Then you can always go for chicken cock, baby. That's right. Not one, but 2 bottles of chicken cock from the lovely people at Proven Base. Now, you're not going to get any of this stuff unless you go to chadcheese.com/free and get yours today.
That's right. And look, Emmy's got her chicken cock cup out.
I have got my chicken cock, but can I just say something?
Yes, please.
Didn't actually... Do you know when my birthday was, Chad?
No, when?
April the 14th. I didn't get anything in the post.
Well, how come Steven didn't send you something? I'm going to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I'm going to have a word. I want chicken cock. I feel like left out, you know. I want to have chicken cock in my chicken cock mug.
Well, wait a minute. We might be able to make that happen. And
Events! Where are we going, boys?
That's right. Our travel sponsored by our friends over at Shaker Recruitment Marketing. Is all this AI stuff getting you frustrated? Well, don't worry. Just jump over to shaker.com and leave your worries in expert hands. That's right, shaker.com. So, Emmy, clear your calendar. I'm coming to London.
Oh, when?
That's right. May 14th. Coming to May 14th.
I'm not here. Every time you come over to this region, I'm not here.
Oh, my
Are you doing
God.
this on purpose?
I was going to try to bring some chicken cock. Okay, maybe next time. Time.
Yeah.
I'm going over for the Job Board Connect Unplugged event. I'm a virgin on this one. Have you guys been to any of these Job Board Connect?
No, not at all.
Either. This is Julie's going to be speaking at it, and I'm going to be speaking too. So that's good. That's 2 birds, 1 stone. Then I'm doing a couple of online events. Remember these things? They happened during COVID. They're few and far between now. But I was asked to join this fusion event that was happening just to kind of check it out, and I thought, what the hell not? I'm going to be, in the Algarve soaking up the sun anyway. So on May 20th and 21st, we're going to hold 2 debates on those 2 days. One is over skills-based hiring. I'm going to be the moderator. I'm not going to be debating, even though I would love to debate. And then number 2 debate is over AI interviewing. So if you want to join the debates, discussions, or just be a voyeur and watch, go to hrweek.global. And you can always go to chadcheese.com/events. And you can find all the events we're going to be attending. Plenty more events coming in 2026, not to mention teaser in the Musikgebau, the Congress happening later this year. If kids, we don't run out of jet fuel. That's
could happen.
That is. You guys going anywhere? I know, Lieven, you're always going somewhere.
Always going somewhere. That's right. But nothing worth mentioning here.
I know, he's so mysterious, isn't he? And it's like, yes, I am.
I am.
And that is as much as I'll tell you.
Going to an
the only thing you need to remember is October 6th, I'll be in Amsterdam for the e-recruitment congress, where Chad and Joe will be too.
Yeah,
that's
more to talk about with that. I can't wait. It's been too long. But until then, we're going to talk about
Layoffs.
Yeah, layoffs. Lieven already talked about Facebook a little bit. Meta will cut thousands of jobs next month as it spends more time and money than ever on AI projects. A key reason for the layoffs is Meta's increased spending in AI, which Lieven talked about, which is 130 billion USD. That's 100 billion British pounds. This is roughly equal to the amount it spent on AI in the previous 3 years. Not to mention, I don't know if you remember or not, they lost $90 billion in virtual reality. Right?
The metaverse, right?
Yes.
Remember
So
the metaverse.
let that lay for a minute. And in other layoff news, according to an internal Starbucks memo sent to employees and seen by the Seattle Times, Starbucks is in layoff mode. While the exact number of job cuts and their location remain unclear, the company said in a memo, quote, "We are making structural changes to move faster, sharpen focus, and ensure we are set up to deliver on our most important priorities," end quote. Whatever those priorities are, who knows? The report added the layoffs follow a series of workforce reductions over the past year, including the closure of several hundred stores across the US and Canada. So Facebook is burning through cash and Starbucks is burning through stores. Any comments? Anything to add?
What do I have to add? It is freaking scary. I'm fed up of hearing all these stories about companies saying, yes, AI is going to take over. AI can increase the productivity of our employees. AI means that we don't need as many people. Or it just means that you're overhired at some point, probably during COVID, and you're still trying to rectify it. So like Lieven said, stop doing evil. Just be good, be human, look after your employees. And especially, I read this thing about Mark Zuckerberg. What he's doing now is that basically what he's saying, it's kind of like something out of Black Mirror. So he's told his employees that they're going to track and log their interactions with their, how they interact with their computers. Any
Mouse
clicks and keystrokes. And they're going to use that information to train and improve the AI models. Is that, are you joking? So really what they're doing is that they're really trying to force their employees to train their computers and train themselves out of a job. That's what you're doing? Is that, what is that doing to your company culture? No one's going to want to work there. You don't trust your employees, and you're basically telling them, yeah, well done. I'm going to force you to train the algorithms who's going to replace you in a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, then you have Handshake, AmeriCorps, and LinkedIn, who are now starting to help companies, these companies, find experts in specific areas to help train the models in specific areas, whether it's coding, whether it's science, whatever it is. So there are all these different models that are being put in play to do just that. So get ready. Get ready. We got the meats, kids. Okay, so HR software giant Personio just announced its first ever quarterly profit in Q1 of 2026, proving that if you fire enough people and close enough offices, eventually the math starts to look less like a bloodbath and more like business, mainly because humans have short memories. Following a grueling multi-year restructuring phase, which is corporate speak for multiple rounds of layoffs and fleeing the US market with their tail between their legs, Personio finally moved into the black. Now, how much did they make? They aren't saying. They're not telling us. In the same release, Personio announces its acquisition of Oreo, A-U-R-I-O. I think it's Oreo, which offers 2 AI agents. Agent number 1 is Kim, an AI sourcing agent, and agent number 2 is Alex, an application screening agent. Personio is in the black and now has agents. Emmy, what's not to love?
All of it. It's amazing. No, I mean, for me, I find it quite, I'm interested in the fact that they went out so quickly and kind of went shopping and acquired this new organization. Because, and I think it's very optimistic of them. They, like you said, they have lost a lot of money. They have not been doing well over the years. They've only just made a profit. And the very first thing they do is let's go shopping for a new company. Are you sure? Are you sure this is the right thing to do? Is this logical? Is this safe? Are you seeing, do you not want to wait for multiple quarters of profitability before you go and do this? Maybe they're thinking, maybe they are positive. I'm assuming that they are. But for me, I think it's a little bit of a reckless move from their part, even though they're trying to capitalize on, in what Oreo's doing. Oreo? Yeah, Oreo. Yeah.
Oreo, I don't know. Is it the cookie? Is it not the cookie? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Personio has raised over $770 million in over 8 funding rounds. I mean, so close to $1 billion. And talking about being in the black is merely financial engineering at this point. Mm-hmm. Buying a young startup that says they have agents seems a little thirsty for the spotlight. And or they included Oreo in this press release to detract from the lack of actual numbers that they were giving around their profitability or their ability to get to in the black. So if companies like Personio want to be taken seriously, they have to start giving us numbers. Are you seeing revenue growth? Where? New countries, new products, or maybe just better retention and upsells? Mm-hmm. For me, a release like this is just some sloppy and thrown together bullshit. Number one, they should have pulled together more substantial information about being in the black and telling a story about their road back. If not, shut up. Number two, separately, you splash the hell out of this new acquisition, pull together some videos of the product, hype it up, do some interviews trying to put your brand in the same conversation as the Workday buying Paradox move or the SAP buying Smart Recruiters move. Is it the same league? No, hell no, it's not. But does it matter when you're splashing product? It does not. No, get out there and be big. You either go big or you stay the fuck home. And for me, this Personio press release was 2 opportunities to have go big moments, right? But Personio said, nah, we're just going to go ahead and throw this out there and stay home. Last but not least, Hanno Renner, who's the CEO and co-founder of Personio, said the following, quote, reaching our first profitable quarter is a major milestone for Personio. It means we can fund our innovation agenda from the strength of our business, independent of external capital cycles. It's an important step in building a resilient company and giving customers confidence that we're here in the long term. What that says to me is we are still not ready for the big leagues. We're not a resilient company. We didn't have the capital to innovate before. And someday our customers should gain confidence in Personio.
Please think we're good.
Not only did they blow 2 big messaging and narrative opportunities, but the CEO just said, we're not ready for the big leagues. It's a go big or stay home game. And to be quite frank, for me, this was a stay home move, unfortunately, when they had go big opportunities.
Well, I never worked with them or never used one of their products, so I'm not going into the quality of what they have to sell. Might be very good, I don't know. But they've been burning money since 2015, I believe, something like that, which is quite a long time. And like you said, Chad, someone invested, or many people invested about 700 million in them. But if I was an investor and they were just doing whatever they were doing for over 10 years, burning money, I would get anxious. And if their business model is getting more money just to keep doing whatever they're doing, this might stop. So what I would do in there, if I was them and they did the same thing, is buy an AI company just to keep the investors happy for a few more years, and we'll see what happens. And the cost cutting thing they did is a very good trick to get into the black. If it's feasible on the long run, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but we'll see. But this might keep investors happy for a few more years, which is a business model on sich. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think the hard part is that first off, they spent a lot of money trying to get into the US, right? Trying to crack the US, and it didn't work. So they retreated back to where they were comfortable. They're going to have to try to crack the US again. They have to be able to grow, to be able to actually create the type of, revenue, that I would assume their investors want. They're going to have to find a way across the Atlantic again.
Why did they fail the first time? Because they were only there for 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is something that I don't want to say is typical, but we see from many European startups when they want to come to the US is they believe they can do a big splash and then everything just comes like it did in Europe. And it's the same thing vice versa. Americans think that they can invade Europe the same way that they work in the US, and you just can't. And I think, most of these European companies feel like if they take the same model and they just push it over one way or the other, it's going to work. And it just doesn't. You're lucky if it does, right?
Yeah,
You're really lucky if it does.
We Europeans, we always think the US is an easy market. It's tons of customers and one language.
Same language. Yeah.
Almost one legislation, at least not as fragmented as in Europe. So it seems like an easy market. The only problem is so many other companies think the same. So it's a very flooded market. It's a red ocean. And in my experience, many companies have one plan. Plan is we're going to the US. But what they're going to do in the US, they don't have a clue. Are they going to conquer the US? They're just going to do whatever they were doing.
In the same way we did in Europe, as in Europe.
Yeah, and it's probably not the same thing they should be doing. But I get the urge to grow in the US. It's still it's the biggest market.
It is, but you have to be committed, and it has to be sustainable. And that's one of the hardest things I think for companies to understand going in. And the big difference, you coming over to the US, there's a lot of noise. Thinking that regulation is pretty much the same because it's one federal regulation. Well, then all 50 states have their own regulations. You don't know how many UK practitioners I talked to in Hertfordshire.
Well done. Good.
About a month or so ago, who were just blown away by, just the chaos that was happening from a regulatory standpoint in the US.
Oh, I can't keep up. Yeah.
no guardrails versus going local and having specific guardrails in different locales. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to navigate. And, you get to the point where,
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And it would, of course, help if you have something to offer which nobody else is. But that isn't the case. It is often the case.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Kids, we're going to take a quick break. If you have not, go to our YouTube channel, check it out, like and subscribe. Do the same thing on Spotify, and give us a review. Love us, hate us, doesn't matter. We love to hear from you, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Omar, founder and CEO of JobPixel. I'm going to talk about two things. Number one is JobPixel. We do short form video content. So if you're a recruitment, marketing, or employer branding leader, you have to do video content, collect content from your employees. You're going to be able to show impact that you've never seen before. Number two, I would love to talk about People Brain Collective. People Brain Collective is a new organization that just got started by some of the best minds in our industry. And it brings all recruitment, marketing, and employer branding leaders together in one place to have a conversation about the impact of their work. I promise you, it's something you do not want to miss. So after this video, you'll see a QR code. Scan that QR code with your phone, go to their website and sign up for a membership. You will not regret it. They have amazing people talking about the best topics you'll absolutely love. Thank you, and I can't wait to see you there.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
All right. So as an employee, where do you draw the line between your beliefs and your company's beliefs, the products that they build, the outcomes, those types of things? And in case in point, Palantir may have directly, been involved in the Trump administration's ICE crackdown on undocumented immigrants, and an effort that's been implicated in numerous deaths. Oh, but it gets worse. It's not clear what Palantir's role was in the deadly strike on the Iranian school, killing 120 children, right? And one Palantir employee asked in a Slack channel, quote, "Were we involved?" and whether the company is doing anything to stop a repeat. And this is quoted by Wire magazine. Then last week, Palantir poured fuel on the fire with a 22-point summary of their CEO Alex Crazy Karp's 2025 book, The Technological Republic: Hard Power, Soft Belief, and the Future of the West, an ominous corporate manifesto that critics called a hideous ideology, an example of technofascism. This has given some Palantir employees pause. One employee says, "We were supposed to be the ones who were preventing a lot of these abuses. Now we're not preventing them. We seem to be enabling them." Emmy, Lieven, as an employee, where do you draw the line? You've got this company. You have another company called Anduril that's in the US that's doing not as bad stuff because they're a much younger company, but it looks like they're on the road to doing those things. How do you square this?
What I would say, in an ideal world, when you join an organization, you're not just thinking about the job. You are also thinking about the culture. You are thinking about what the company actually stands for. You are thinking about the customers they interact with, because that organization is a reflection of yourself, But that's in an ideal world. And I'd like to think that, and I truly believe that, if I was looking for another job, those are still the same questions that I'd ask the employer. And those are the things that will influence my decision as to whether or not I would want to work for that organization. And I think that when people joined this organization back in the day, that is what, they came across as an ethical organization. They came across as an organization that was doing good. Somewhere along the line, the CEO has changed his mind, he's changed directions, and he's basically saying, get on board or basically get the fuck out, And an example of where he's saying get the fuck out is because when people are asking, like you said, are we involved in these things? This doesn't really align with my values. He's saying, cool, I'll tell you, but you have to sign an NDA, which means you'll find out, but I'm not going to tell, you can't tell the colleague. So he still stays close knit, or that I'm just going to carry on scrubbing Slack messages of people talking about this. But like I said, that is in the ideal world. I think that whilst people should still do this, and whilst people should still ask these questions, whilst this should be a driving factor as to whether or not you take your job, I also know that the market is shit. So people may suspend their beliefs if they've been out of work and go, I need to pay my bills. So yes, I do not agree with this, but I'm in a situation where I can't pay my bills. My kids need to be fed, for example. I've been out of work for months. What are they going to do? What's going to be the driving factor then? So I find it very scary that we're in this situation. I find it very scary that this guy is in charge of an organization. I find it very scary that he doesn't care that he's changing the culture. And in fact, that he's finding ways to drive out people from his organization that don't align with his culture, with all his tactics that he's doing. And then he'll build an army of employees who all have the same political beliefs, because that's what he is. He's pushing his political beliefs on his employees. So I think it's a very sad, scary world.
Lieven, is it sad and scary, or is it just trying to make a buck out there? Just a guy just trying to make a buck.
It's sad and scary, I think. But I'm not naive. I think we need a strong military. And given the geopolitical situation, Russia, China, Iran, etc., the US needs a strong army, I'm sure. And they're not making many friends, so they need an even stronger army than they used to. So I totally agree. And if I was a brilliant engineer, you might have convinced me to work for a company investing in the military activities. Why not? It would be, I'm not a hypocrite. I mean, so I would do it. I might have done it. But what's happening now is something else. We're not talking about developing the military to defend the United States against foreign problems.
Yeah.
We're talking about using AI to do stuff to the own people. I'm not sure how to say it in English. To make sure those, you know what I mean. You're using AI against your own population.
Oh yeah,
and that's not something I could support.
Big brother.
Yeah, what Amy says is right. I mean, it's a hard time, and if you have a job, you need a job. I need to feed your children. But these are engineers. Those people can work. If they're very good in AI, they can work wherever they want. There's still a lot, so they have the possibility to choose. So in French, they have a saying, and I'll translate it afterwards, but quand la dégoûtée s'en vont, ce sont les dégoûtants qui restent. Whenever the people who are disgusted are leaving, only the disgusting people are staying. Yeah. This is what's happening all over again. So
it's a very
if you're not leaving now, then it's your own choice.
Yeah.
If you keep working for a company like this company, it's your choice, and you're entitled to your own choice, but it's your choice. So don't say you didn't know it.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
There might be a wee problem, boys.
There's no question. There's a corporate handcuff kind of situation that's happening. You know, much like Emmy had said, Karp knows the market sucks. Karp believes AI will start taking jobs soon. AI taking jobs means less jobs, needs less people. Employees are stuck between a rock and a hard place. And do I say grin and bear it, or do you say get the fuck out? These two options are always available, but when the market sucks and the possibility of a market retraction through AI is on the horizon, what do? Do you stay with the evil empire or eject? And I think no matter what, the end result's going to be the same. Whether you leave now and you find a job somewhere else, or you are continuing to train this Palantir AI, and then they just get rid of your ass anyway, right? So it's kind of like which
route do you go down?
Which stop do you want to get off on?
Yeah,
right. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I wasn't talking about the people working in the kitchen at Palantir. Not talking about the people cleaning the offices. I'm talking about the people who actually making the difference, who are building this empire, this evil empire, which will be used against the own citizens. And this is a decision they know they made.
Agreed. No, I totally agree. And I think those individuals, those types of engineers, especially the AI engineers, they're the ones with the control, unlike most of the other individual positions that might be under them, right? So yeah, the ones who are making the difference in Palantir today could prospectively just eject. And that might not be a bad thing.
Oh, your ass is out the window, boys.
Well, we're going to go ahead and move on to a company that we haven't talked about in a little while. So this is from their press release. Nomad Health announced today its formal transition from a healthcare staffing agency to what? To a software platform company. Nomad offers its proprietary AI operating system to mid-market and enterprise healthcare staffing firms nationwide. End quote. Switching from a staffing company to a staffing operating system. Lieven, did you and Nomad just become best friends?
No, but it's not one of our companies, so I only become friends with my own companies.
Oh.
But
M&A, baby, could be one of your companies. You never know.
Why not? We should look into it. But we used to say you can't go wrong with healthcare. We stopped saying this. You definitely can go wrong with healthcare.
I'm sure. Yes.
Because of legislation. And I only know about Western Europe here. We have a company in the Netherlands called TMI, which is actually doing whatever Nomad is doing. And they are struggling now because of legislation. So the press is constantly against people investing in healthcare because they say something like private equity is getting rich on healthcare, but it's the population who's paying for healthcare. It's not like in the United States where healthcare is something each individual has to pay for himself.
Right.
Here, healthcare is paid by the government, so basically paid by taxpayers.
Single payer, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So if a private equity company is investing in healthcare and they are charging a lot to attract, they are investing a lot to attract nurses, for example, and then they put those nurses at work and they make money on top of those nurses, it's the government who's paying. So it's the taxpayer who's paying for the profits those companies are making. This is what the press is kind of propagating. So I think the business model will have to change. And what Nomad is doing, evolving from traditional staffing to a platform, could be the way to go. Then the people active on the platform are in charge and they decide if they want to be freelancer or if they want to be a nurse who is employed or whatever. And they just match those profiles, the nurses with the hiring companies, with the hospitals, etc. And it's a different way than just putting people at work and putting them on your own payroll, which is what was traditionally happening. We hired thousands of nurses, we put them on our payroll, and basically if we had them all, then we could charge whatever we wanted for them because we had the nurses and those hospitals needed nurses. This has to stop because people are just not accepting it anymore. So I think this might be it's triggering nomads to change business model. It's the opinion from the people and legislation. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. What do you think, Emmy?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an interesting story because I don't think very often, or I certainly haven't heard of organizations just making this kind of massive shift, especially when they're doing well, because they were doing well. You know, they were not a struggling organization. They were, 42nd on the fastest growing staffing firms list out of all the ones out there, 46 on the SIA's list of largest healthcare staffing firms, if I'm right. So they were doing well. They could have continued to have done well. They could have continued to grow. So I think it's quite a bold move. And I was trying to think about why. Why would they do that? You know? And one of the reasons that I was thinking is because the healthcare market is hard and the margins are low. So in order to keep growing, I'm assuming they're going to have to keep adding heads. So that's obviously you're increasing your spend, which is going to affect your profitability. Whereas if they moved down this route, this kind of SaaS route, what they're doing now is having higher profit margins with lower headcount. So, and they're selling their product, which they've actually been developing over the years, to their competitors as well. They know the market. So I think it's actually quite a clever move, but I think it's quite an interesting move and probably an unexpected move. But we may see more organizations, particularly in the healthcare industry, move down this route, or any other kind of industry which has that kind of low profit margin kind of growth model.
Yeah. I think the question is a good question. Why make this move? And it's always my analogy, skate to the puck. You know, skate to where the puck's going to be, not to where it's at. And I think Nomad is skating to where the puck's going to be. They have a raised total amount of funding of over 270 million, according to Clay. And again, we haven't talked about Nomad Health for years, and both Joel and I were very high on them when they came out, especially during COVID when we needed essential care workers badly. So at least 4 years ago, I predicted Nomad should drop the idea of being a staffing agency and just become the rails staffing runs on. I mean, why compete with other agencies, especially when you're a tech company, and that's what Nomad is? Why compete with other staffing agencies who desperately need to utilize technology better when you can literally just be the rails or the operating system that they run on? So then the entire staffing ecosystem turns into your client, much like you'd said. This would be a major disruption for companies like Bullhorn, but that's exactly what markets need to move when you need to innovate disruption. And I see this moving past healthcare, right? Healthcare is going to be their first foray, and then they're going to open that TAM up. And when you start talking about being able to take like the big, the big placement fees, well, you can have a few of those, or you can have a little piece of every transaction that happens out there.
Yeah.
Right. And then you don't have to worry about, much like Lieven had said, having them on your payroll, benefits, all that. So you don't have to worry about that stuff because you were just the platform that's running it. Appcast pulled off something similar from this standpoint of becoming a technology that all recruitment marketing agencies use to run their programmatic cost per click technology at one time, right? It was brilliant. Don't become a competitor, become the operating system, which is exactly what Appcast did. And it made them the number one platform for programmatic and distribution and pay-per-click. Then they committed the cardinal sin. They acquired Bayard and overnight became competitors to all those recruitment ad agencies. So yes, even brilliant plans can be thwarted by stupid humans. I think that what I predict happening here is that no question, this makes Nomad incredibly sexy to any tech vendor that's out there who wants to get into healthcare, but they don't want to get into the messy stuff, the payrolling and all that. They don't want to get into
compliance,
that. But you have these big staffing juggernauts who know that the only way forward for them is technology. They're going to have to buy somebody. And I would see somebody buying these guys up pretty quickly. The only problem with that is, again, being a system for all, if you get bought by a staffing company, you become a competitor again. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
All right, we've got one more ad break. Again, kids, go ahead, check out chadcheese.com, whether it's interviews, the sessions.ai, all that fun stuff. We'll see you when we come right back.
Done. I think we'll cover speed and hiring.
Did somebody say speed? Then buckle up, boys. You're about to learn how to hire fast.
Who is that?
Vetty Betty. From Vetty, the hiring acceleration platform. Come on, man, keep up. What's up, Betty?
Hey, Chad. Vetty makes high compliance hiring easy. Background checks, licensing verifications, and health screenings, all in one place. Real-time updates, no red tape, and no delays. Hiring managers can move fast, stay smooth, and close the deal.
So they just sit back and watch. Hell, I could watch this all day.
That's right. Relax, enjoy the view, and don't lose the hire. It's that simple. With Vetty, it's all taken care of before they can even catch their breath.
Best lesson ever.
Class dismissed, boys. Vetty. Hiring as it should be. Visit vetty.co to learn more.
Okay, LinkedIn. LinkedIn always seems to get in the news, for goodness sakes. This time, Ryan Roslansky is out and Dan Shapiro is in as CEO over at LinkedIn. Now, change is usually driven by one of two things, the pursuit of massive opportunity or the absolute necessity of survival. What do you think's happening here? Opportunity or survival? Who wants to jump in?
Lieven, I'll let you go first.
I don't know, basically. I think Dan Shapiro is, he's been in the company for 15 years or something, for a very long time. Not sure if it's 15, but
almost 20.
Yeah, look, even longer, yeah. And there used to be Ryan Roslansky. He's moving out of the picture. I'm not sure why. I didn't get any scandal or anything. Maybe he did something we're not aware of. So I don't know why he was replaced. But I don't know Dan Shapiro. I always like it when people move in the company, within the company. So for me, it's better to have someone who knows the company, who's been growing in the company into that role. It probably will be a better CEO than someone who was hired just because he was a big name somewhere else. So that's a good thing. I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn.
I bet.
Yeah. We spent tons of money on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn still is the best resume database in the world. It updates itself. It's great. But the way they sell their products to us is just too commercial. And also, I asked them to sponsor a congress, and they will come, but they will not sponsor because of budget. But then I asked myself, if we spent literally millions on LinkedIn, then they should be able to offer something in return as a partnership. They're always claiming partnerships, but for me, this would be a partnership. So I'm kind of angry with them right now. So this might not be the most objective person. Anyways, I think AI is going to change everything, even for LinkedIn. And it could go very fast, and the shift could be very abrupt, very sudden. And they have to be prepared, because even a very big company like LinkedIn could become obsolete in a very short moment of time.
Yeah.
So this guy could be the right choice. I saw him on LinkedIn. He used to work for Bain Capital.
Yep.
So he knows the business. He knows. I think he has the right strategic vision, as far as I can see. But I wonder what his first actions will be. This will give me a better idea of how we might evolve or make the company evolve. We'll see. For me, it's just too early to say anything basically useful on this. We'll see.
Emmy?
So I think it's an interesting move. You asked if is it an opportunistic move, or is it because they need to survive? I think it's an element of both. If I talk about the survival route, so since they were acquired by Microsoft, they have been growing. The problem is that growth has really slowed down. So I think they're seeing that, okay, cool. If this continues, they're going to struggle. They're going to be left behind. Somebody else has got something, some other product will come to compete with LinkedIn and take away from the kind of the market dominance that they have right now. So I do think that that's why this new guy has been put in. The old CEO, he's still in the organization. In fact, this guy is actually reporting into this person who now works directly under Microsoft. So I think that's one reason. But opportunity wise, this guy knows the organization inside out. Like you said, he's been there for donkey's years. And yes, he comes from a sales background. He is commercial. He knows how to drive revenue. In fact, the area that he looked after, he transformed that organization. He made it very, very profitable. And I read that when he made those successes in the division that he looked after, at that point, he was expecting to be promoted into, a C-suite role. It didn't happen. And he was told at the time it's because, yes, you can sell the product, but you don't know your product. You don't know it inside out. So he went back. He did something which I've very rarely heard of before. You go from this kind of high level executive role, and he went back and became an individual contributor in a product team to learn that product. Nice. And then what happened? He actually ended up getting the role he has now as CEO. So he's got that strong suite of skill set to actually maybe move LinkedIn forward, make sure that growth actually is, yes, they are growing, like I said, but, it is very slow growth. So maybe he's going to actually accelerate the organization now and help to pivot, especially in the world of AI, like Lieven said. Then probably not going to stay dominating the market as they are now if they just stay as they are. So I think it's a good move. I am interested to see where he takes the organization.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think it is just as much about opportunity as it's about survival. For nearly 2 decades, the platform has dominated the professional landscape. But today, the rise of AI is just a feature. It's not. It's a fundamental shift, right? Everybody thought, well, we're just going to have little AI features and stuff. This is shifting everything that we're doing, and it's turned the traditional job market on its head. As Dan Shapiro steps into the CEO role, he isn't just inheriting a big name. He's inheriting a huge mandate to reinvent the platform. Now, personally, on Ryan's side of the house, I think he picked the right time to leave. LinkedIn, for the first time, hit 5 billion last quarter, and things are about to get messy in our space. So hang it up and flip it over to Dan, for goodness sakes. And smart leaders, I've always said smart leaders know when it's time for them to step aside. And I think this is a very smart move, especially since Dan's experience is tailor-made for this point in time, as you had said. A great example. And I didn't know this until I was listening in on one of Rebecca Carr's Ask Me Anything sessions. She wasn't sure that she wanted to be a CEO. So what did she do? instead of, just kind of like sitting around as a COO and trying to, peek in and see what's happening every now and again, she became a chief of staff for a CEO. That's a huge step down.
Yeah.
Right? She was a chief of staff so that she could be there every day and see exactly what a CEO did. She could learn from the CEO. This is what smart people, smart leaders do. They understand where where they have gaps, right? And they go and they fill those gaps with knowledge. And it doesn't matter if they had to take a step to the side or even down to be able to get that, because that knowledge means more than anything. So I've always liked Dan. I don't know Dan that well, but we've both been in the industry for a long time and we've crossed paths a lot. I think if he gets into a good focus for product, unlike Indeed is incredibly sloppy now. They don't know what they're calling their products. It has different deliverables on Monday versus what it did last Friday, right? If LinkedIn doesn't play in Indeed and they really focus and they sharpen their product, I think they have a great opportunity. But right now it kind of almost feels like they're all over the place. I hope we see focus. If we see focus, I think this is going to be a good run for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because to be quite frank, much like, Lieven said, most of these companies don't feel like they have a choice but to spend money with Indeed and LinkedIn or pick one of them.
100%.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna roll this in, kids, because that's right. I have a dad joke. No kidding. So I didn't get a chance to do this because Joel was on a couple of weeks ago with me, and we were talking about science and space and Artemis. So I wanted to do a dad joke around science.
Oh,
right. So why don't scientists trust atoms? Why don't scientists trust atoms?
I don't know.
No idea. I feel like I'm not clever enough for this.
Because they make up everything. Oh, that's a science joke. That's a science joke.
I'm going to use that one. I love that one.
Lieven's still not there yet. It's okay. I'm going to translate it into Flemish, and I'm going to send it over to you, Lieven. Okay. Lieven, thanks for coming on, man. Emmy, it was great to see you.
Thank you.
And until next time, guys.
Until next time.
We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chad. The Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chadcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!